Library, and I'm going through this book, Simply Economics, DK series. And believe me, it is so interesting, and it is a book to have in one's own library. So for you to see, it is Penguin Random House, DK London, and talking about the contributors, you have what is consultant Peter Antonioni, a lecturer in the Department of Management Science and Innovation at UCL, where he teaches the economics of technology and information sector. Then other contributors are John Fanden, an award-winning author who has written over 1,000 books, including overviews of the booming economies of China and India, and contributed to many DK titles, including The Economics Book and How Business Works. Then you have Shari, S-H-A-R-I, last, is an author and editor of best-selling reference books and has contributed to numerous DK titles. And then you have Philip Parker, is a critically acclaimed author and award-winning editor who has contributed to many DK books. So all of this, and they've done a great job, let me tell you. Reading a little from introduction. What is economics? Economics is a study of production and distribution. Economists seek to understand how goods and services are produced and who consumes them. One focus of economics is on how markets shape decisions about production and distribution. Economists use a range of tools to analyze market behavior, and those are costs and prices, perhaps. And then economists use models, mathematical or conceptual maps of a situation, to stimulate and understand real-world problems. These models remove or simply some of the details of reality in order to gain a better understanding of how a market or even a country changes as individuals or institutions make different choices. This kind of economic analysis leads to two types of conclusions: positive statements, that is accounts of how the world actually is. For example, excess supply leads to falling prices. And normative statements, that is what ought to be, that is accounts to how things should be. For instance, a government should choose a different monetary policy. It is not always easy to differentiate between which statements can and cannot be verified. So economists look carefully at conclusions about what should be done and try to tease out the possible consequences of different courses of action. So there's a quote from Alfred Marshall: "The most valuable of all capital is that invested in human beings," he says. Then there's something they write about thinking small, which is micro. Then when thinking big, it's about macro, the big picture, macroeconomics. Micro are the pieces of jigsaw puzzles, and the macro is the jigsaw puzzle all done. Oh, very well put. So there are the schools of thoughts like the classical, Keynesian, Schumpeterian, ecological, well-being and caring economics, and then complexity economics, behavioral economics. So behavioral economics emerged after World War II. And then Marxist economist, Austrian economics, etc. And each one, these schools provide tools for economic analysis, sometimes very differently from each other. Each tends to emphasize separate features of the economy in their studies. And it's very interesting. Economics is all about choices because there is scarcity of resources and unlimited wants. Page 66. They talk about life isn't fair because of the inequality, and they talk about the Gini index of measuring inequality. Go through this, you must read. Business cycles, good times, bad times. Find how time devalues money. So why rate of interest is important. A simple book, brilliantly put. Must buy.